Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiman and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man chapter 119. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? I personally loved this chapter. I thought it was amazing, and to be honest, I would go as far as to say this might be one of the most shocking chapters so far in part 2, because a lot of new developments happen in this chapter. A lot of things that we speculated were going to happen, as well as a couple of few surprises that I personally didn't see coming. Now, before we get into this week's chapter, I just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all Chainsaw Man anime and manga content going forward in the future. It really helps me out a lot. I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. But with that being said, let's get into this week's chapter. So the chapter starts pretty much where left off last time, which is pretty much Denji and Asa. They're going on this date and they're going to Denji's place, and you know, right off the bat, you just see both of them like, okay, they're outside of the apartment. And they're like, all right, kind of weird. And what happens is Denji is like, okay, so about these rules, there's three main ones. It's like the first one is, don't go inside of other people's apartment. And then Asa's just like, what kind of rule is that? That's like common sense. Why would you just barge into someone else's apartment? And Denji's like, okay, fair enough. Well, that's a rule, man. Okay, yeah, I guess it makes sense. But I'm just saying it's a rule. So they get inside and pretty much, you know, they're just vibing. They watch the movie and, you know, they're just chilling. They're just sitting down, you know, watching the movie and whatnot. And eventually Denji's like, okay, there's another rule. This other rule is pretty much you cannot, you know, open the fridge. And Asa's like, well, what? That's like very impolite. Like, you just don't go into someone's house and open their fridge without their permission. And then Denji's like, well, I guess that makes sense. So he's like, I guess, yeah, nothing to worry about. So as Denji's telling Asa these two rules, you know, Denji's like, hey, the roommate I live with, she's actually out and taking out the dogs for a walk or whatever. And, you know, she's very like, she's a very, you know, problematic child, to say the least, kind of thing. And, you know, she's gone to walk the dogs. So the third rule, the most important one, is just make sure she doesn't see us making out. Okay, that's the main rule. And Asa's like, excuse me? Like, what? And you see her all blushing like, I don't know what kind of business you think we're gonna be doing here, but I came here to watch a movie. I'm not here I didn't think about making out. I never even thought of it, okay? So get that out of your head. And then she's like, well, you like me, right? And then she's like, what? No, I don't like you. And then she's like, are you sure? I mean, you asked me on a date. I would think you like me. That's the only kind of you know, sense it would make. And Asa's like, pretty much like, no, I don't like you. Actually, you know what? You're dumb. I hate you. In the contrary, I hate you so much. And no, I don't like you. It's not gonna happen, okay, buddy? And then she's just confused, like, all right, I guess that happened. And like, he's just like, well, I mean, this is awkward. I mean, this girl asked me on a date, and then she tells me, you know, she doesn't like me. So like, what's the deal? You know, then she's just thinking like, what is she up to? Like, what? And eventually she just tells Denji like, you know, I only went on a date with you because like, you know, I was bored or whatever. And she's like, just stay away from me, Denji. You know, like, that's the best thing you should do. You just stay away from me, or else you're gonna get, you know, in trouble or hurt or whatever. And Denji's just like, man, this blows. Like, I thought I was gonna have a date with this chick I like, because then you see a little bit of Denji's inner monologue and you see that, you know, he does somewhat like Asa a little bit, you know, somewhat, because he says like, you know, I did like her a little, like, but I thought that she liked me, and I guess she doesn't like me. Like, why? Like, that kind of blows. But why doesn't she like me? He's like, I thought she liked me. Is it because I stink? It's like, oh man, I should probably stop sleeping with the dogs, because, you know, they probably, you know, they get all the smell. Like, that's probably why she didn't like me, because I smell like dog. And he's like, man, you know what? Yeah, that's probably what it is. And then he's like, hey, Asa, do I smell like dog? And then the next thing you see is just Yoru's face. And you see her, you know, she took over Asa's, you know, she took over Asa's body. And you see Yoru, like, just straight up go up to Denji. And she gives him a big old kiss. And this was crazy. Yoru's way too, you know, proactive with this kind of stuff. Like, she just goes for it, man. Like, she has no chill. Yoru went, you know, she went for the kiss, and Denji's just like shocked. You know, his eyes are open, his mouth is closed. He's like, what the? Like, he was not expecting this. He's just in shock. Like, and Yoru goes for the kiss, and like she keeps making out with him or whatever, and eventually they separate, and you see like Yoru all sweating and blushing, and Denji's the same thing. He's like shocked, like what the heck. And this is the thing that I wanted to bring up, which is like you notice that Yoru's blushing and she's sweating as well. So we know that in the last chapter that they said that Asa and Yoru share emotions because they share the same brain or whatever, and they both quote unquote love Denji. So what I'm assuming now is that Yoru, she genuinely loves Denji, and she was making out with him and she was enjoying it while she was doing it, not just kind of forcefully, but she's like, oh, you know what, this actually feels kind of good. So pretty much they're making out or whatever, and the next thing you see is the door opens and a bunch of dogs come in, and who's there? Well, it's Nayuta. And let me just say it, the silhouette of Nayuta with the dogs, with the leashes, that was a 10 out of 10 panel. I think Fujimoto did an amazing job illustrating Nayuta as the control double, because we all know that that's what she is. And I can't be the only one that thought we had PTSD flashbacks of Makima, because that panel of her with the leashes, it looked 100% like the panel from the control double arc towards the end of part 1, where Makima has the chains around everybody. And I thought that was just a great symbolism of who's here. Like Nayuta's here, and stuff's about to go down, and stuff does go down indeed. And what we see is that just pretty fast she just goes thief, and then she just points at Asa, and a chain penetrates her like forehead, and you're like, what? And that's pretty much how the chapter ends. So we're like, what just happened? Like it was going good for Denji, but you know how it always goes when Denji's having fun with a girl, something always bad is bound to happen. I mean, it's common sense, right, at this point. So my theory is that when she calls Yoru / Asa a thief, I have a couple of speculations of what she might mean by that. One of them, I think, is the pretty obvious one. I think is that Nayuta is very attached to Denji, and kind of like a little sister jealous, that Denji got a girlfriend / he's seeing a girl. And I'm sure that maybe Nayuta feels threatened / like maybe like my big brother Denji, he likes this girl, is he gonna like her more than me? Like, no, he's only supposed to love me, kind of thing. And that could be one of the scenarios. Another scenario could be that Nayuta, she can see through Yoru and Asa and their facade, which is that Yoru is taking over Asa, and she's inhabiting the body. So maybe she's able to tell, like, hey, there's two people inside of that body, or two entities at least. And that might be one when she's like, you thief. Like maybe she's calling Yoru straight up, like, you're taking over this person's body, you're a thief. And my last one would be that she pretty much is like, hey, the Chainsaw Man is mine. That's just a wild card. But my main two theories are that pretty much she either can tell that Asa and Yoru are one entity, and she's calling Yoru straight up a thief by taking over Asa, or that she just thinks Asa is trying to steal Denji away from her, whichever. Or so I think next chapter it's gonna be a big confrontation between these two, and it's gonna be insane, because it's sister versus sister, Yoru versus the control double, and two horsemen are gonna fight it out. I think that's what's gonna happen. Or Denji might be able to de-escalate the situation. But yeah, it was insane. Like the second you see just Nayuta say thief, and she points at Asa / Yoru, just the chain goes in there and just strikes her forehead. So we don't know what might happen in this next chapter, but all I gotta say is Fujimoto has just been the master at just pretty much having the last page reveal just be like something shocking, or something that makes us think like, oh, what's gonna happen next chapter. And I think that's insane, because this dude just proves how much he knows his story and how much he knows his audience, to make them go like, oh my god, let's come back for next week or the next chapter, whatever. But overall, I think this chapter was amazing, and I cannot wait till we get to see what Nayuta, like, what she's kind of like, because we got an idea of that she might be a little bit too attached to Denji, and she might be just jealous about Asa and Yoru trying to steal Denji away from her, pretty much. At least that's what I'm guessing. But it was also pretty cool seeing that Nayuta you know, she's kind of resembling some of Makima's features. You know, she got the black hair. She might have black hair, but she has the, you know, ponytails, thread kind of thing. But it was very familiar to just Makima, and that was insane because we were like, oh my god, we've been here before, so what's about to happen? But with that being said, I really love this chapter. I think this chapter was amazing, and I cannot wait for the next chapter because we're bound to see either a confrontation or, you know, maybe Denji might pull his cord and turn into Chainsaw Man and just kind of de-escalate the situation. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching and sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Chainsaw Man manga and anime content in the near future. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.